A new study shows that college grads would spend a week in prison if it meant removing their college debt. I know what'll fix the problem of college debt. Let's make college administrators spend a week in prison for every student they admitted who didn't finish their degree or couldn't find a job in their field of study after graduation. That'll fix the problem. I'm Dr. Duke, and this is the Dr. Duke Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Duke Show, the only program that keeps you educated on the craziness impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses around the world. On my own again today, Katie is off getting her custom-made booster seat that she can take everywhere she needs to. Today, we're headed to college campuses to be reminded just how uneducated the next generation is about to be. On 3 separate campuses, students say the Civil War was the only justifiable American war. Democrat students can't name a single accomplishment of their party in the last 3 years. And there are an infinite amount of genders that can't be debated. But we start with a new study about college loan debt and the top 6 things students would do to make it go away. Before we start, I want to take a quick moment and remind you that after 2 years, the Dr. Duke Show is excited to welcome daily sponsors. If you want a lot more exposure for your product, for your business, for your company, you have a business, small or large, we want to partner with you. Get started. Just visit freedomproject.com/advertise, freedomproject.com/advertise, and let us show you how we can support your business. First story. Things college students would do to wipe out debt. And I think what's really interesting about this is none of these students says retroactively go back in a time machine and not take out the stupid loans to begin with. Alas, student loan debt is the highest it has ever been in the United States, over $1.5 trillion, according to the Federal Reserve. It is the second highest consumer debt category, second behind only mortgages, which means if you took all the collective credit card debt of the United States, it would not amount to student loan debt. So, therefore, it's really not hard to believe that there are many young people with college degrees who would go to extreme lengths to get rid of their debt. A study conducted by One Poll on behalf of Splash Financial analyzed 1,000 undergraduates and 1,000 postgraduate degree holders and found that 89% of those surveyed see their debt as a huge financial burden. 9 out of 10. Many admitted to making major sacrifices because of their financial situation due to student loan debt, including skipping social events to save money, picking up a second job, missing crucial life moments, such as not attending a loved one's wedding, birth, and to avoid travel costs. I got to step back here, though, and say many Americans do this anyway. It's not merely student loan debt. Many Americans pick up a second job. Many Americans miss things that they otherwise would like to attend because of financial responsibility. I'm not sure that those things are all that dramatic. Nevertheless, here are the top 6 things, according to the poll, that students would do to erase student debt. 1, shave my head, 51%. Hey, you take my debt away, I'll shave my head. It's no big deal. Oh, that's right. Number 2, to work for a month. Really? Only 49%, less than half, say they would walk to work for a month to get rid of all their student loan debt. Give me a pair of tennis shoes and turn me loose. Never have caffeine again, 40%. Relive high school all over again, 40%. No time off from work for a year, 40%. And spend a week in jail, 39%. I seriously find the idea that 39% would spend time in a maximum security federal prison highly unlikely. And what this tells us is a few things. It tells us really nothing overly obvious, but the threshold for pain and suffering for our coddled youngsters isn't very high. If only 40% would give up caffeine, if less than 50% would walk to work, if only half of them would be willing to shave their heads to completely clear themselves of debt, this is an explanation. This is nothing to be upset about. This is not showing how desperate these kids are. I could see if it was saying things like, really hardcore stuff, like spending 6 months in prison, or there's a whole bunch of other things you could be giving up, right? Not having a car, getting rid of your automobile. It just goes to show you that even with this huge student loan debt, the capacity of our high school and college educated kids to actually see what real sacrifice is beyond them. You know, if we spent more time teaching things like the Great Depression, things like the struggles of World War I and World War II, stop making those wars nothing more than examples of Western colonial racism, and taught kids the hard reality of what every generation before us, beginning before the baby boomers, had to suffer, maybe they'd be a little bit wiser about getting into debt in the first place. And when it came time to actually sacrifice, they'd do better than this. Speaking of how poorly we teach our students, it should surprise nobody that in one of these latest situations where you have a campus and a man with a microphone talking to college kids, really, really in-debt college kids, really, really stupid in-debt college kids, they can't name a single just war, many of them, that the United States has fought. And the word just is what does them in. They have been schooled to believe that war is bad. All war is bad, right? And it's only America that fights wars. It's only America and Western culture that fights war. And so the whole concept of a just war, their socialist little Trotskyite professors have never let them consider for one moment that there are times when war is horrible but unnecessary.
This is Eduardo Norette with Campus Reform. Today we're at Howard University. Can you think of a war that the U.S. has fought in that to you would be a justifiable war, a just war?
No, none at all.
Can you think of one?
I don't really know.
What war has the U.S. fought in that has been a just war, a war that could be justified?
I feel as though there aren't any justifiable wars that we've entered.
Do any come to mind to you?
A just war?
Yeah.
No, not really.
I don't think any, especially with like what happened with Vietnam. I think that was just not messed up and stuff. So,
what do you think about World War II? Do you think World War II was a just war?
World War II, there were good reasons behind why we fought it, but in the reality, they weren't the reasons why, because if they were, we would have been in the fight much earlier. So I don't believe that America fought that war for the just reason of against Nazis.
You don't believe it? That's great. But this is not a matter of belief. It's a matter of education. It's a matter of understanding who the enemies were, or what Pearl Harbor was, or what the nature of the conflict was, or what was at stake. We don't know all of that. I don't believe it, said the student. I don't believe America fought that war for just reasons. Fair enough. What reasons did they fight them for? Luckily, we didn't have to hear that. One young lady responded, "The only one that I can reasonably justify in my head is the Civil War." Okay, now that makes sense, right? African-American campus, the idea that slavery is omnipresent in the lives of our kids' education, the fact that it took war to end slavery. Nice to know that kids on an African-American campus would go that far, right? Some college students appeared to be confused about what each war was actually about, with one explaining World War II as a just war because the U.S. used it to win its independence from Great Britain.
Right, I definitely think so. World War II, as well as Pearl Harbor. I know a lot of people die with that, with them blowing up the ships and everything. It's a good cause for the greater good, because at the end of the day, we got our freedom and we are no longer under Great Britain.
But this is the problem, right? They not only know what a just war is, they don't even know what the wars were. They just assume if America was involved, it has to be racist, it has to be bad. Along with that, we have another story that I think ties into this very nicely. Liberal kids, which is to say most college kids, they're interviewing a number of liberal kids on a college campus, and funny, most of them cannot name a single Democratic accomplishment, not one. They can't name a single Democrat accomplishment in office. All throughout history. I got a couple for you. How about being anti-civil rights? How about being the party of slavery? How about being the party of Jim Crow? Can you name those? Probably not. How about being the party of the Ku Klux Klan? How about that? No, sadly, they can't list those either. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar, these are the faces of the American Democrat Party today, and kids are familiar with them, and kids want to support them. Therefore, it is not surprising that when they held a shared rally at the University of Minnesota, liberal students flocked to attend. The College Fix sent a reporter to the rally asking students, what is one thing the Democrats have accomplished in the last 3 years?
Over the last 3 years, what's one thing the Democrats have accomplished?
I guess they've taken back the House, but I mean, they're not that good at using their authority or their power.
I felt they haven't really done much over 3 years, but that might have been because Trump has been in office.
I would say Bernie Sanders igniting this passion in people. just resisting like Trump in general and like some of the things he's done. I think they've done a really good job of that.
Notice, it's an accomplishment just to be a Democrat. It's an accomplishment just to be elected. That's the standard. That's the bar. All you got to do is participate in government, and you're a hero, right? Meanwhile, several students even said the Democrat Party has disappointed them over the last 3 years. Okay. The students interviewed appeared committed to liberal ideas, and they were unshaken by their ignorance, but they have no idea what Democrats have actually done since Trump took power. And no, neither do the rest of us. Final story for the day. UC Berkeley students claim an infinite number of genders. Another man on the street interview segment, Will Witt of PragerU, hit the road recently and found himself on the campus of the UC Berkeley Fighting Bears, the UC Berkeley Bears, where he asked students at the exclusive school, how many genders are there? You know this was going to be a disaster.
How many genders are there?
Infinite.
Infinite?
I think there are infinite genders.
Why do you say that?
Because I think, I don't know, you can't put things in boundaries.
How many genders are there?
There's a spectrum of genders, you can't really say.
Like an unlimited amount, you would say?
There are like 5, 6 maybe.
6? How many genders are there?
Oh, girl. It's like 72 plus or something.
I could not tell you.
You couldn't tell me?
Could not tell you.
How many can you name?
Not all 72.
Another student said, adding that gender is something that's made up, so sex is something that's biologically given to us. So I don't know how to be honest. And I'd love to ask her, who was it that gave you biology, by the way? You say biology was given to us. Are you dangerously wandering close to the idea of a creator? Another student said, there's like 72 plus or something genders, and named a handful, including third gender, cisgender, agender, cis woman, cis man, non-binary other. Nice. One student told Witt, there are a lot of genders, and you can just like invent them, I guess. Bingo. You can just pull them out of whole air. You can just invent them completely from scratch. Witt asked a female student, if a man identifies as a woman and still sports a penis, can he use a woman's restroom? She replied, yes. If they're a woman, she said.
Do you think that, like, if a man identified as a woman, he should be able to go into the women's restroom?
Yeah.
If he had, like, let's say he still had, like, a penis and everything like that, and he just identifies as a woman, that's cool for him to go in there?
Yeah. I mean, if they're a woman, they're a woman. Yeah.
You think you can be a woman with a penis?
Oh, that's the height of a deep moral argument, right? Thomas Aquinas, step down. Immanuel Kant, your day has come. You've got these brilliant undergraduate Socratic thinkers at Cal Berkeley. If they're a woman, she said. So if a man identifies as a woman and still has a penis, if they're a woman, she says. So that clarifies it. So it's $60,000 a year for an education at UC Berkeley, and that's what we're turning out, kids. Undereducated half-wits, completely convinced of their own beneficence. This isn't going to end well for you or for me. And that's it for today. If you like the show, please consider supporting it by signing up for our Patriot Club. Just $25 a month keeps us going. And right now, we'll ship you this limited, handsome edition tumbler and this not-so-limited and not-so-special stress ball. Visit drdukeshow.com to get started. And don't forget, if you do have a business, large or small, we'd love to help you reach more people with a sponsorship. Visit FreedomProject.com to tell us you're interested. For Freedom Project, I'm Dr. Duke. Until next time, stay educated, my friends.